All right.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah. Hello, everybody, all at once. This is Theo Cedar-Jones on May 24th, May 25th, 2017 with Shira Khan. And we'd like to invite Adidas Samraj for a channeling session.
He's close by. He's already here.
Hello, Bhagavan.
Hello, my son.
Thank you for coming today to be channeled again with Shira and me. I love you, Master, and I turn to you every moment and breathe you and feel you every moment, and I commune with you as the feeling of being continually. Thank you so much for your release from the self-contraction.
He says it's my pleasure, and he is aware of you, and that the two of you breathe together.
I love that. Well, I had some questions for you today.
He said, speak.
I wanted to report that I and other friends had a ceremony to formally invoke the Free Union of Renunciate Messengers on April 23rd, 2017 via the webinar that we've been using every week to bring people together around Natu is Peace. And so Mike Waters and Spencer Newell and Julia Tenike and Lorraine James and others came together to celebrate your divine word, which I've compiled in this manual for the Free Union of Renunciate Messengers.
The channel has to get her glasses.
Okay.
When did you do the compilation?
This has taken about 2 years.
Okay. Have you shown it to Bhagavan before?
I think on our last channeling session, I may have shown it to Adida.
I think so too.
In another version that was more nicely.
Would you like him to read it?
Actually, if I could just read a little bit to you, Bhagavan. Renunciates have the office of preserving the holy sources of traditions through complete submission to the process of realization. This is how they preserve what is holy, not merely by containing it, but by realizing it and then being set apart in it. This is a most profound function in the world, and it must be preserved, just as earth must be preserved, and all kinds of other features of the human totality and of human existence altogether must be preserved by right means, a right systematic approach in which the totality reorganizes itself. End quote.
Is that what he said, right?
Yes, this is Adida's word. And so what we did was to read from your notes about the Free Union of Renunciate Messengers, and we invoked the names of certain exemplary renunciates, especially those who made an impact in America. So we invoked Adidas Samraj, Rama, Dr. Frederick Lenz, Yogananda, Osho, i.e. Rajneesh, Bernadette Roberts, and others who lived in America or born in America or were renunciates in America. And we wanted to start somewhere because it was hard to really name everybody, all the renunciates that could ever be involved. So what we did is we just made a general invitation to all the true spiritual masters who have ever lived who might want to participate in a free union of renunciate messengers. And we also invoked this for our own radiant fellowship, so that there would be a safe space for any and all renunciates and people who are into awakening, who want to be renunciates, to have a place to congregate, to have access to your notes, and to fulfill your admonitions about having an organization for renunciates from all traditions. And I personally feel a need for this so that I could have people to talk to about this experience of awakening. And one of the first people we wanted to invite who's living is Santosha Tantra. And I extended an invitation via email to her, and I also sent her a copy of these firm notes. And as far as I know, we haven't heard back from her yet, but Spencer Newell and I are driving down to Southern California this Saturday to pick up some paintings for Warner, and we'll be close to where she lives, and there may be a chance to visit her in person and have an audience with her.
Does he go like this?
Yes.
He's going like that. He's listening. He's happy for you. He says this all sounds right. And that your personal desires around having a renunciate union and what you need it for are a good model and a good way of getting information about why it needs to be here and what purpose it will serve.
Thank you.
So he's all for it.
Thank you, Bhagavan. I love your ideas. I love these notes. I thank you for getting them to me through channels, because these are not authorized, approved notes through Adidam proper. And so there's been some sensitivity around how to share these, how to make a formal presentation of these, and how to put them in the proper context. And so I've tried to use examples of your other manuals that were published in your lifetime and make this in the spirit of a guild manual.
Which guild just
Adida had many guilds,
Oh.
such as a theater guild
Oh.
has their own manual.
Oh.
The
Okay.
chanting guild.
So an Adida guild.
Yeah, a specific Adida guild.
He trusts you. He trusts you that you will honor the codes that have already been put forth and the way of doing things. He appreciates your attention to detail and to honoring both the spirit and the letter of the guidelines that he put forth.
Yes. Yes, Master. Is there anything else, Bhagavan, that you want me to know or do about the Free Union of Renunciate Messengers?
He says, keep going, wholeheartedly keep going. There may be setbacks, but that doesn't mean that it should be that those are roadblocks.
Yeah.
He's smiling upon the way you've reached out to other people and that you're joining together and marching forward as renunciates. Those are the main things. Let me see if there's anything else. He said something about be sensitive to women joining, make room for them.
Yeah.
Their voices aren't as loud.
Right.
But they're just as important, very, very important. So you may have to invite, like
Yes.
you've been doing.
Yeah. I will, Bhagavan.
See if there's anything. He said to hold as like the logo, if you will, or the symbol of this, his face and a smile.
Okay. I will. So your face and a smile is the logo, Bhagavan. Yes. Kind of like the art is being pointed to here. This is one of Adida's images. Thank you, Bhagavan. On to the next question. We've been offered a potential opportunity to apply for a grant from the Global Challenges Foundation, which is a $5 million grant for the best global plan of peaceful cooperative governance for the planet. And it's financed by a Swedish billionaire. I could find his name online. I don't recall it right now. But we...
He wants to know his name.
Okay.
I have... you could use my phone as a hotspot if you want. And then have internet.
Oh, right. That's right. I can do it on
or
my
you could
phone
just
too.
Do it on your phone.
Yeah.
Or you could just look it up on your phone, right?
Yeah. And so our group that has been hosting a weekly Not to His Peace group, mostly Mike Waters, Spencer Newell, and myself, are taking on this grant project.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look up the Global Challenge Foundation. Which, interestingly, is the same letters as the Global Cooperative Forum, GCF.
Uh-huh.
The Global Challenges Foundation has launched a $5 million global prize to find the best ideas to facilitate international cooperation to manage global risk. And then... Global Challenges Foundation Introduction. The Global Challenges Foundation aims to incite deeper understanding of the most pressing global risks to humanity and to catalyze new ways of tackling them. Founded in 2012 by Swedish financial analyst and author Laszlo Szombatfalvi. Laszlo Szombatfalvi. And I believe the deadline is in October, and they're looking for something on the order of a 5,000 word grant application according to certain criteria that they have given us, which Mike Waters has already mapped out into a document that I've written an introduction for, where we basically are coming out with the idea that humanity has never been introduced to itself. Humanity needs the Global Cooperative Forum in order to be with itself, to find access to itself. And that the best way to do decision support and risk management is the Global Cooperative Forum and the principles of Not to His Peace. And we want to integrate Mike Waters' work with his book about sustainable global bionomies, which integrate ark habitats, self-sustainable living environments, with a broader cooperative integration of economies, maker shops, and so that if the market collapsed, people's local means of self-support would not be vitally threatened, and many of the products and services could be at least temporarily self-maintained at local levels until larger, civilizational supports are reintroduced. We would see the dissemination of eco-villages and sustainable bionomies as one of the pilot projects that we want to put in our first grant proposal. That with $5 million we could build an eco-village in Lake County, on land and properties that are already made available to us, and use that as a way to demonstrate the sustainable bionomies system. And secondly, to expand the webinar itself so that more and more people get access to the book Not to His Peace through a book promotion campaign, where we get the book Not to His Peace into the hands of influential people and the masses, ordinary people, in ebook form, physical form, and in the form of people reciting it on YouTube. And that a broad global campaign to translate the book into all languages on Earth and disseminate the book to all peoples on Earth is another part of phase 1 of our grant proposal, so that we can have a broadly educative process to make people aware of Not to His Peace and the principles of prior unity and egolessness as the basis for our going forward. And the third component, in addition to disseminating the book and having a pilot project of a sustainable bionomy eco-village, it is to expand our weekly webinar so that it's literally a 24/7 webinar where people from all over the world can tap in, see the issues that are on the table, where everyone can see what the issues are. Everyone gets access to the decision support, strategic information, and intelligence. And one of the components we want to integrate into the grant is the work of Robert David Steele and his open source manifesto, which says that global intelligence collection, instead of being done by spooks and the cabal that keep it a secret, it should be open intelligence that everyone has access to within the global cooperative forum. So we have a model for the intelligence gathering. We have a model for local sustainability. We have a way to get this book to the people. And we have a way for them to come together in the webinar and have the open conversation basically morph into the Global Cooperative Forum. And I guess those are the 4 principal parts of the grant so far. And we want your feedback and your, everything you want to say about that.
So, sounds good. I see you put a lot of hours into it and put your hearts into it. And, I applaud you for that. We together know that your impetus is that you dearly love humanity and that this is the best way that you know to show your love for humanity, to love humanity is through these 3 avenues. It just needs to be clear early on in your proposal how this will benefit humanity, that if they sense that it's to further our organization as the goal, not to have an open hand toward humanity, then they will turn down the project.
Yes. Thank you, Bhagavan.
So, what is your inspiration and your love of humanity as it relates to this project?
Well, it is my love for humanity and a vision I've had that there would be a collective awakening on planet Earth, both as Earth herself and as human as a collective. Not just humans waking up individually. It's the collective awakening, something I call the spontaneous collective breakthrough.
Have you put that in the proposal?
Not exactly.
Yeah, you need to put that in, because that's where you're getting on the same page as Laszlo. Because he could see those 3 things as ideas, but he needs to see the effect of those ideas and what they will bring to his vision of making the world a better place.
Yes. I think another thing that I'm attracted to and that I bring to the process is the idea of safe space for humanity. That a cultural space in the webinar, for example, that's informed by your values of egolessness and prior unity, has fostered a sort of conversation that we have enjoyed, that we participate in every week, that we notice the benefits of being in a space of conversation where there's nonviolent communication, where there's a presumption of no problem, no enemy, no other. That vibration is what I want to share, so that everybody could be at this table of the beloved community.
So he's sending me that vibe very strongly right now. He's transmitting it. It's very peaceful. And actually, this is the exact thing that Laszlo wants to be able to bring. He's looking for vehicles for this. He would not be opposed to a spiritual leader, but it has to be very clear, since Laszlo is talking about a global level, it has to be very clear how this is the man for the job. Like, this is the organization that understands and can articulate the profound level of inclusivity that's needed. And so you're doing this already, and he commends you for that, but he's having you remember the actual felt experience in your body of Adida, and that every word on your page of the grant somehow expresses that. Yeah.
Yes, great, yeah.
And that you want to give the human beings that experience.
Yes.
And that these are the three ways to do that, to make that experience available to people.
Yes, Bhagavan, thank you. And there's one other dimension I forgot, which is the ecstatic cultural dimension. That permission for ecstasy is definitely a part of the new civilization and global governance, and that this would be manifest through us doing global ecstatic events that include music and art and celebration and chanting and group exercises.
And so Adida, he's smiling very broadly, and he's like sending pictures of people dancing and stuff. He said on that one, there's a bridge. You could be the bridge between the modern world and the modern way of doing that, and like the American, like, New Age tradition, and then the tribal traditions that people have already been doing that for millennia. So bring those two together, and there's a lot of precedent for that already with Burning Man and things like that. But that it would be ideal to articulate that in the proposal.
Yes, Master, definitely we will. That was as an essential part that we've already all come together on that point.
And that this is, you do have an edge, an advantage that other groups don't have, who, like this deep, profound spiritual connection is actually the answer Laszlo is looking for. He may be anti-religious, as a lot of Europeans are after World War II.
Yes.
So it will be crucial to demonstrate that the new type of world religion, yes, there are guidelines, yes, there are restrictions, but that it's based on a very, very profound kind of inclusivity that has been missing in traditional religions. And he's not sure whether or not it's going to be tricky how you language if you want to mention Adida as the inspiration.
We do.
Okay, so he's thinking of the word teacher.
Yes.
More than even saying spiritual leader.
Well, I was going to ask you, how do we position you in all this?
Teacher.
So it is. Now, you've also said world friend.
That's good for this, too. And especially if he can quote me on that, and that'll maybe will be the first time that he hears the phrase world friend.
Yeah.
That will be eye-opening for him.
Should we capitalize that or no?
If you're using it as a descriptor, like I am a world friend.
Yeah.
That's an adjective and you don't capitalize it, but if using that as a title,
Yeah.
like Adija, the world friend, then it would be capitalized.
Do you want to be known in the formal sense as the world friend?
No.
Okay. But a world friend?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's happy.
I'm so happy for you, Bhagavan. And it's there's nothing better for me than to give you results and that make you happy, and to bring you more people who will bring you results to make you happy, and to see you happy is my happiness.
And my happiness, he's saying, my happiness is your happiness. There's no difference.
Well, I'm pretty excited about this. It's helping us focus our efforts, whether or not we get the grant, to systematize, prioritize, put everything in a nice package according to their scheme, and according to what you've given us about how to position you in all this, how to put inclusivity at a radical level, and the feeling of how I feel with you, somehow, in the words.
Do you have people of different races who are involved in the organization now?
Jacqueline Clemens has been involved, but otherwise I would say no.
There might need to be some, inviting people from other races.
That makes total sense. I will do that. Did you have anyone in mind?
Any individual?
Yeah.
The way that I speak about spirituality is something that people from India would be familiar with already. Some Native American people would be also, but there should be no presupposition of them giving up their own religion, but rather having a way to blend it and hear two messages, but not for them to give it up.
Absolutely, right. Thank you. I've had a particular concern for Native Americans in the East Bay, and I did some research on the Ohlone tribes. They've literally been living in the East Bay, apparently called Muwekma Ohlone. And part of the maybe further phases of this grant or further projects that I've been developing is this idea of Oakland 2.0. That Oakland as an entire city could eventually be a kind of eco-village theme park, where the sacred nature spirits and nature shrines of the East Bay Hills are restored, where the old growth trees that were raped, cut down to the last one, except for one single runty, stunty old growth behind the house where I grew up in Leona Park, the grandfather tree. There's only this one old growth redwood left in all of East Bay.
That's so horrible.
Where they had the biggest redwood trees and the biggest trees ever known to have grown. A 32-foot wide stump is in the Oakland Hills. The biggest tree today is 26-foot diameter. So that's a legacy of Oakland that's like, we're the most magical, beautiful place, and the most raped, and the Ohlone people and the language groups of Native Americans were really so wiped out so harshly in California. And I feel that one of the earlier tasks of the Global Cooperative Forum is to do a pilot project of Oakland as a city where homicide is eliminated, where the native peoples that lived here have cultural space restored to them, even land.
This is beautiful. He loves it. It's beautiful. He said this is a beautiful example of living, breathing, walking his teaching. He loves you and he loves this vision that you have. There's nothing bad about it. It's just lovely. It's filled with heart. It would touch many people here. People are ready for it. You've always been a visionary. And this is a good example of what you have to offer. Fit in beautifully. He loves this project.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. He's saying if you get the $5 million, it could go for that.
Yeah. I mean,
you'd have to compete with Mike Newell's project, but
Mike Waters?
Mike Waters, sorry.
Yeah.
Someone doing something in a city like Oakland, which is known and it has a reputation, it's known already as being diverse.
Yes.
And would reach so many people, would appeal to Laszlo and meet the goals of that project more than a village that's not accessible to as many people.
Oh, very interesting.
But in the Bay Area, this project, if it were done in Oakland, you go right to where there's the greatest need,
yes.
by the greatest number of people, sheer number, and by the greatest number of races, because the East Bay is one of the most racially diverse places in the entire world, unlike the West Bay, unlike the North Bay,
yes,
and unlike Lake County.
Yes, it's true.
So this will be sensitive. You know, this is Mike has a vision too, and you want to honor that. You're with the greatest respect. I mean, just as an aside, Theo, this is where it gets really tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can turn that off.
I can edit it out.
Okay, because you could go and say, oh, I spoke with Adida, and Mike could go and say, well, I've been speaking to Adida, and that's where it gets really heated, is like, who has the direct line to Adida?
Totally, absolutely.
I mean, the Adida who's with me really likes Oakland and as a project, and the Adida is coming through me thinks that would be more of what Laszlo's looking for.
Yeah.
It's okay to say this, but the idea of doing it up in Lake County feels like it just sheds off all these people and leaves a mountain for certain people who could get up there and have the money.
Right.
But in Oakland, it's bringing his vision literally to millions of people if it's centered in Oakland but draws in from all around the East Bay. So it's much more global than village in the remote area of California.
Right. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mike will appreciate both Adida's and Shira's sensitivity.
Well, that's sweet. We have to think of a way to really honor Mike and see if there might be another way to include his vision or support his project.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean...
We will do an eco-village in Oakland. Or...
That would be...
Ark Habitats.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
To blend that with your vision of the shrines.
Yeah.
And giving sacred sites or whatever sites back to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the place for that. So there's some more stuff coming through that Adida is sending me this big belly full of happiness and bright light, yellow and white light, and he's saying this is your life purpose actually, and that you were born for this from a very young age, that your connection to the East Bay Hills was your earliest education, your earliest love.
Yes.
And that you've always revered this place, and that your knowledge of God has been through Adida, but it's also been through the East Bay.
True. It's true.
And that you come as sort of this visionary artist, elfin healer.
Yeah.
And that really, in a way, everything that you've been through has led you to the feet of this project.
Yeah.
The love that's in your heart, your devotion to Adida, your relationship with the East Bay, you're a son of the East Bay. that it's prepared you for this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And that Adidas says there are other groups doing similar work, and you can connect with them if you want to go big. If you want to go small and be one guy,
no.
Well, okay. But he's saying to work with yourself the way you are.
Yeah.
And if you want to start with like one small park.
Yeah.
That has a plaque and that, or has like one shrine, that you start with that.
Yes. Yes.
Start with that, and don't be afraid to start small, is what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's saying allies, actually, in addition to nonprofit organizations, of which there are many, would be Oakland Museum would be an ally.
Yeah.
And the city of Oakland.
Yep.
Actually, I guess they have a Parks and Recreation Department.
They have parks and have an ORD, the Oakland Recreation Department. ORD.
And then East Bay Parks too.
Yeah, the East Bay Regional Park District, which really.
Well, and that you need to find Native people, like maybe.
There's a Muwekma Ohlone website.
Oh, awesome!
That I sent an email, sort of cordial. How do you do?
Did you hear back from them?
I'm not sure that I have, but I need to dig it a little deeper.
Okay. Because you were probably an Ohlone Indian. You don't think so?
I would not doubt it. My
you
connection.
You were some kind of Native American. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to do separate channeling for you to find out that. Yeah, he's going.
Yeah.
This happy belly. He's just beaming like this. He's so happy to be part of you discovering your life purpose. He's part of your life purpose. Your love of the hills is like all coming together.
That's right.
Time of your life.
Yeah, everything's coming together for me.
Yeah. Finally. So, and as far as talking about it with Mike, to invite him to blend the eco-village idea into Oakland.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I mean, his eco-village, he could still apply for the grant. He could apply for the grant and blend it. It doesn't have to be necessarily one or the other. You could leave it up to Laszlo to decide.
Oh yeah, but Mike and I are very collaborative. We're writing together. It's one way or another we'll work it out together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah.
In addition,
he blesses your union. He's like, you guys are a factory. You're create the innovations.
Thank you. And Mike is a godsend.
Mm-hmm. I guess that way about you too. Yeah, you're like brothers. Mm-hmm. Brothers in love, not brothers in arms.
Yeah, that's. So in terms of Oakland, I also had a vision that the brick and mortar Global Cooperative Forum facility would be established in Oakland. Mm-hmm. Maybe two facilities. One that is the inner temple type facility that has images of all the renunciates in a circular dome, and then images of all the true warriors in a circle below that. Because in the notes that Adida gave, Free Union of Renunciate Messengers, you talk about renunciates are kind of the top level of culture and society, and the true warriors, the kshatriyas, are the muscle, and the renunciates are in the firm, and the kshatriyas are in the Global Cooperative Forum, and therefore we want to have a place for the firm temple, and we want to have a different place that's like a Global Cooperative Forum building, where we could have events that's a little more of a public, outward-looking gathering space.
Great. He's sending a picture of a domed place.
Yeah.
It has soft lighting, the kind of lighting that comes up from a rim.
Yes.
And it's just filled with purple, mostly dark purple, but some different shades of purple and gold.
Yeah.
And that it's clean. Because when people come in nowadays, like, they might have this or that on them, so that it would need to be vacuumed constantly.
Yes. That's what we do in ashram.
Oh.
I mean, we always are vacuuming. It's like in Temple La Di Da.
Maybe that's why he sent it to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wonderful. I think that covers the Global Challenge Foundation question.
Okay, great.
I wanted to go on to my body health.
Mm.
If I could show you, I've had some scabs and scratches on my backside here.
Oh, yeah.
For a couple years.
A couple years? And
Yeah.
It hasn't healed?
Well, it has healed. It was much worse. I had it all over my shoulders, all over my back. I had it.
This?
Yeah, these scabs.
You don't know what it is?
Well, I went to the doctor, the dermatologist, and he didn't know what it was, and he gave me a bunch of antibiotics, but I refused to take them. And it's gradually, slowly been getting better. And it doesn't really bother me in any particular way. It's like...
Do they scratch
I scratch them off because I enjoy doing that, and then eventually they heal. Do you need
Oh, no thanks.
lemon water? Okay.
He's saying scratching them off is making them stay longer.
Okay. But Bhagavan.
He's asking if you can sit with the urge to scratch and follow it
Yes, Bhagavan.
see what's underneath.
Okay. What's
There
underneath?
may be a nugget for you or some kind of knowledge of yourself.
Yeah.
Mm. He's saying to put cream on it. Do you do that already?
No.
He's saying put cream.
Anything?
He's saying lavender for some reason.
Okay.
And other herbs, other green herbs. He's asking if there's like an herbal apothecary place where you could go.
Yes, there are.
And maybe get some creams that have essential oils in them.
Yeah. I can even make them, but there's
But
all
for
kinds.
guidance.
Yeah.
You should have some guidance. You should show someone like that
Okay.
what it is.
Okay.
Who wants to see them? They're only on the right?
They had been on left butt cheek, over the kidneys, on the
The
shoulders.
dermatologist didn't know what it was?
No, and he
What is this scratch? Three, did you go like that?
no, that's the other thing. So there's scabs that are round, and then once in a while you'll get a scratch that looks like somebody just went.
And they're not from anything?
No. And other people on the internet have been reporting this.
What?
That there's mysterious scabs and scratches that look like mine, and there's no explanation. There's no physical cause.
Sure. What do you think it is?
I've been assuming that since 2012, when I went headlong into the awakening process with La-di-Da, and then had the awakening in 2013, I had suddenly toxic experiences with housemates, and it was under like psychic attack, and was told by the channeled sources online that many light workers, as they become more visible, stick their heads over the ramparts, start to get attacked energetically, psychically. And it happens to most of us who are at this stage, apparently.
Really?
And so I assumed that there was some degree of me having a skin reaction to energetic attacks,
Okay, could be.
and that this was concurrent with his housemate troubles.
Okay, I see. So Adidas said either way, whether it's an energetic attack or some other dis-ease, to look at it as an invasion
Yeah.
and to ask for it to leave your body
Yes, okay.
is what you need to do, and that he's saying to do it 3 times
Okay.
very firmly. That you ask the forces that are bringing this pestilence and all of the supporters of those forces to leave you alone, to exit your energy system, to exit your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual systems altogether. That you are not open to the attack,
Yeah.
and your shields are up, and you energetically think of pushing the attack out.
Yep. That all sounds right to me, and I'll do it.
Okay. and then let him know what happens. He says it's going to take about 3 months.
This is something I would normally do with my map team, the nature spirits that I work with Paralandra, and as you know.
I do. And then, but what?
And just letting Bhagavan know that I would probably do a map session.
Oh, yeah, he said that's a good way to do it.
Great. Because, they give
but
me
you
support.
might need to do 3 sessions.
Oh, I will do 3 to be sure, as you say.
Okay.
Good, and so I'll look for the essential oils. I'll get consultation on that. I will.
Essential oils in a cream.
In a cream. And a salve.
In a salve.
Yeah. And then...
They're very knowledgeable at Whole Foods, actually, even about... They have essential oils.
I found that to be true. I will ask Whole Foods, especially the one I think in Berkeley, more than the Oakland one.
Probably, yeah.
So I'll do that, and then...
do you go to Marin ever? Because they're good over there, too.
I do. I could do that.
Whole Foods over there is big.
Maybe I'll do that.
Either
Okay.
one.
Yeah. And then do the 3 sessions of pushing the invaders out. Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to talk about Swaybone, the band, my band.
Yeah.
We recently played a show in San Francisco at the DNA Lounge, and I have pictures of the new bandmates.
Oh.
And so we got a new drummer and a new bass player. And it's taken like 2 years since Trevor Cook, our best drummer, left in July of 2015. And it's been an up and down process to find another drummer. And then our bass player Ron left, and he was sort of my right-hand man for 7 years, 8 years. And the guy I did these great jams with, who we could be telepathic during improvisation.
Oh, wow.
And in a way that I haven't really had since the early days of playing music. And so we have a lot of important, I think, recordings of jams that represent like the other flip side of my musical work. There's the songs, and then there's these jams.
Oh.
So it's sad to lose Ron, but now we have a new bass player named Tim.
Is Ron the telepathic guy?
Yeah,
Oh.
Ron. So
7 years is a long time for a band's life.
yeah, out of the 30 years that I've been doing this since.
Is that the longest? 7 years?
Well, no, Tom Opal, my founding member, was with us for 11 years.
Oh, 11 years.
Yeah. Okay, here's Chris Morrison, our new drummer.
Yeah. Looks like a rock solid, hard hitting guy with a light heart.
Yeah, he's got 2 kids, a 1.5-year-old and an adopted 6-year-old daughter. And his 6-year-old daughter came to the show, and his wife and mother-in-law.
Oh, that's great.
And we had a really great show. San Francisco's been a tough nut to crack for Swaybone. Most of the shows we've had have been poorly attended or kind of cold, and except for this one place called Chemo's, which was like a transvestite bar in Polk Street, where we had some of our only like warm shows. It was such a small place that if you got 12 people in there, it felt like a big crowd and a good time.
That's awesome.
But the DNA Lounge, we had to play as a 3-piece because Jasmine, our singer. So I'm just going to go through more of these pictures from the show. That's me. This is another band that played. This is Tim Romaine, our new bass player. And he's known me for a couple decades because we shared a rehearsal studio.
Oh.
Back in the day, and he played in a band in the Bay Area that I knew, and he's known about me all this time. So I'm kind of a known quantity, and he just fit right in, and him and the drummer are just like a big, powerful rocket, and felt very natural.
That's great.
And even without Jasmine as the other singer, I had an experience of having to step up as the rock star this weekend. and fill the whole stage without another singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I've maybe been a bit deferential to Jasmine as the other singer in the band, and not wanting to seem like I was dominating a woman in front of other people, and being too much of look at me.
But that's part of being a rock star, and so you got to do that when you didn't have to hold yourself back.
Exactly. And when I had to step up to make the show full, and I realized I like doing that, and I think I need to do that. That I think I would have to do that for my job.
Exactly.
And so Jasmine was upset because it was a miscommunication about her attendance. I mean, the timing of when she would get to the show. So she couldn't make it, and she's been down in Santa Cruz, which has made getting together more difficult. And I want to propose to her that it's okay with me if she doesn't play at every show while we're getting up to speed as a band and getting enough money to basically make sure that everybody has the transportation money. We're struggling just to have the money to even get people sometimes to rehearsals, to shows, to have the money to promote the shows, things like that. We've been struggling at just bare bones existence for so many years as a band. But I feel now that I'm ready, the band is ready, everyone has the same urge to make it, and has no other thing to do that they want to do more. And we've played a lot of shows. We've played like at least 50 shows since 2013. I feel like I've got the confidence to play a lot of shows, to start doing mini tours, and maybe finally get off the ground further with Swaybone than we did before. And I have feelings about that. I feel ready to do it, but I wanted to talk with you about the Illuminati, because this factors into my issues around success with Swaybone. I've realized that I've had a long-term aversion to making a lot of money and to paying taxes to the nuclear weapons and the war machine. And that was always my thing. Until the Global Cooperative Forum exists, I don't feel like I can be famous, because the system is so corrupt that for me to be famous in a corrupt system would be to capitulate in a way that I am incapable of doing. I'm here to tear down the status quo. I have no tolerance for it. And I'm a complete, total radical. At the same time, I want to succeed.
You don't want to hold back.
I don't want to hold back.
You don't hold back your gift anymore, who you are. No, not anymore. Now's the time.
Really?
Yeah. So let's see what he says about this. He this is who you are, and he loves your flower. Your flower has been wanting to bloom. He's saying that it's necessary to operate within the country and the system where you work. If you were to go to jail because of not paying the taxes, you would not be available to touch the lives of people.
Yeah.
Is your purpose to touch. He says theoretically you could express your love of Adi in jail as well, but that would become your life.
I agree with you on that. I don't want to do that. I want to get out in the world.
And that the holding back is another kind of jail.
Right.
Yeah, so he's saying to think of it as personally releasing someone from prison who did not belong in prison. And that if paying tax is the fine or the toll to get out of jail, that you have to do that, and that the good that you will bring through your music and through your spiritual work, it's gonna offset your unwilling participation in the war machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really saying all hands are needed on deck right now, and he's inviting you to be part of the resistance. Unfortunately, just to be able to operate your business, your organization, your world, you have to pay Rome.
No, I'll pay Rome. I'll pay the taxes. There's another issue though, which is signing a blood.
Caesar, I meant. Sorry.
Caesar, paying signing a blood contract to the Illuminati in the entertainment industry, and the controllers, the cabal of this world, have put themselves in control of Hollywood, the music industry, the media, and that's where I want to be. I want to have my part of that world. I want to, in a sense, be dominant in the culture. I'm not going to sign any blood contract to no Illuminati controllers in Hollywood or the music industry.
What would be an example of a blood contract?
Where, if you want to make $20 million in the music industry, you want to join the 20 Millionaire Club, that you are going to sign a contract in your blood that says, hey, we're going to maybe kill one of your family members, or we will kill your family if you divulge your oath, your secret oath, and you'll have to make some kind of blood sacrifice if you want to get $20 million.
Did this happen to Bono?
Well, I am extremely disillusioned and concerned about Bono because he did so much work to get AIDS drugs in Africa, which supported Big Pharma. And if AIDS is a false flag incident, then Bono is essentially supporting the cover-up of AIDS. And they'll just invent another false flag plague once they've exhausted AIDS. And so he's too comfortable with the Clintons and NGOs and people who I think are involved in satanic ritual abuse of other human beings.
Can you see what? Okay, here's what he's saying. Some of your concern about the Illuminati and the blood contract and so forth, is that based on things that Adidas said when he was alive?
No, it's based on materials that are rising through disclosures on the internet and through this tsunami of WikiLeaks and releases of emails about the Podesta emails.
So Adidas is saying that your sense of, is it called the Adidam? The wisdom of Adidam?
His religion is Adidam.
Oh, okay. So the way that lives in you is your main guide. Mm-hmm. And that if you sit with someone and you are in that place of Adida and you feel Adida's presence in you,
yeah,
and you're with someone, you will be able to tell through that if that person is an honest, compassionate, heart-centered person, or if he or she is satanic.
Yeah.
You'll be able to tell. And that not having actually met the Clintons,
yeah,
and not having actually met Bono, it's hard to really know. You can know a lot about from afar, but that he's really saying to use Adida's presence in you as the guide.
Yes.
And to go to bring your music out from that place, from the place of love, and then see who responds and how they respond, mm-hmm. and how they feel when they come toward you with their response. That's going to tell you a lot. He says that you will need to have good people around you who are true protectors.
Yeah.
Like, not a bloodthirsty lawyer. A lawyer who truly wants to help.
Yeah.
There are those.
Yes.
You need at least one lawyer. Someone who knows the music business and maybe also is aware of a critique of it, is aware of both sides. It's not just totally immersed in it, but also not all not all the way on the outside,
Right.
he's saying. But in terms of your participation,